Well, I've now arrived in Preston at Walton Hall Mews, and these are Jeremy's new gates.
No.
Yes, which, as you can see, are highly automated. And there we have the man himself and his cat. Hello, Jeremy, how are you? Nice to see you. Very fine. I can't shake your hand. I can hold the camera.
We cut now, do we?
Yeah. Jeremy's daughter Jane and her husband have got this business with putting up estate agent signs. And you can see, goodness gracious me, how many have they got here, would you say?
Several thousand. They service about 200 offices.
Yeah. Heavens.
I'm looking here.
So how many different estate agents do they handle?
Well, 200 offices anyway.
Oh.
I mean, some estate agents have 4 or 5 offices.
Yeah.
Some of them are single ones. But
That's the tower. That's the tower, and here we got the new house that's been put up where there was just a shed last time I came. And this is a van set up with all the posts and ladders and all the rest of it. Yeah. So that's Jane's house, and from the other end of the garden. Oh, right. But a chap turned up to mend the tumble dryer. And this is the garage department. Now, do you see what's in there? What's this Jeremy Attrick person?
That was when I was 60 or 65.
Oh.
Our Irish friends brought that over, you see. And then it must have been 65. Austin 7 Ulster, 1930. Trials car. Competes with the VSCC trials all over the country with daughter Jane.
Yeah.
Untidy workbench, I'm afraid.
Corgi lurking in the background.
Corgi lurking. 36 Morris 8, Torah. Been completely restored recently. I just had it recently reupholstered right through in accordance with how it should be, because when I bought it, it wasn't correctly done.
Yeah.
So I've had the upholstery done.
Yeah.
We'll have a run in that shortly.
Oh, lovely, yeah. What did you call that? Suicide door?
Suicide door.
Oh, yeah. Rear hinges. I remember those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a few cars there, didn't there?
Your daughter's garage, Jeremy.
Yes, James and Mike's cars. The blue ones are 1936 Riley Lynx.
Yeah.
And the other ones are 1934 Monaco, I think. Monaco, yeah.
Oh, another Riley.
Another Riley, both Rileys.
There's a bit for some granddaughters have been added here. Yeah. That one, and yes, this is a bike with an extension on the back. Look, and she pedals as well.
Yes, she can pedal.
Yeah, with blocks on. Yeah,
has to put blocks on for her.
Right, we're now going up the famous tower to see if we can. Oh, dear me. And here's the circular staircase, cunningly designed. Oh, wait a minute, we've come up here now, and this is a famous salting room, I believe, isn't it?
It is, that's correct, yeah. It started where I started to make a shed at the bottom to put my tools in, and when I got up there, I decided to make another level to put furniture in, garden furniture, and when I got up to level 2, I decided to do level 3 to form my stocking room at the top. And the missus, first of all, she's not allowed, but she's never had the courage to come up the staircase.
And then there's a little trapdoor there which you can poke your way through and then haul the flag up the flagpole. That's looking over to Preston, which is about 1.5 miles away, you said?
About the centre Preston, 1.5 as the crow flies. But you see, if you go to the left, you'll see the tall flats.
You doing your teeth?
I'm steady doing your teeth. Yes.
It's coming on soon.
She's coming on the telly.
And the Miss Fifi.
Miss Fifi. We must be running late today. Well, you have to blame Uncle Michael for that.
No.
Because we missed Fifi.
Thomas.
Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas.
Is it? Yeah, oh no.
It's very exciting, Thomas. Well, she used to rather grumble.
That's a funny face.
Smile.
But that's a silly face, that is.
Cheese. Cheese. Cheese.
I don't think she says anything anymore.
Cheese.
Struck dumb. It's showing where all your vans are, is it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And it's showing that one, where is he?
He's on the M6 in Wigan at the minute, or crossing over the M6 in
You're
Wigan.
doing 12 miles an hour.
He's doing 12 miles.
You're doing 12 miles an hour.
And it's so, you've got him, haven't you?
That's where he's been this morning, you see, it's all written in where he's been.
Oh, good heavens. Good Lord.
He went to vote when he was.
I think you're being a bit silly.
Yeah.
Well, she can see the red light come on the camera, you see, so she, yeah. Right, we're just off on our trip down memory lane around Preston, and we've decided we're going to have the hood down on Jeremy's car. So this is what happens here, right? Think of all those things that can go wrong with that, Jeremy. Now here we are on the
Leeds-Liverpool Canal.
branch of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, opening a swing bridge for a gentleman who's just about to come through. So now this is the canal that runs up to the Ribble Link, which is what we're going to investigate in a minute. Now this is the end of the canal where it comes to the sea lock, where it locks down into the River Douglas, which is just the other side of that bank. Now this lock has got, if you look at the bottom here, an odd set of gates beyond that one, and that of course is when the tide is higher than the canal, to stop it coming back. So you can see the high tide mark right over the banks there.
When the tide is flooding and coming up, if you're coming into the lock,
Yeah.
you've got to come in pretty quickly into this restricted space. Otherwise you get swept upstream by the tide, or you go bung into this pillar here. So you've got to come in at speed and then go full astern to retain yourself. Or if you can get straight into the lock, that's even better.
Yeah.
Out quite fast.
Yeah.
Respect the tides ebbing as well. But when it turns, it comes in as a fair.
So at spring tides, it'll be over the top of this lot, would
Well,
it?
I think so. Yeah. This is why they've got the boards there.
Yeah,
The embankment there. 'Cause it's really.
Further down the River Douglas, this is Hesketh Bank, and this is one of the boat yards where Dad used to keep his boat. So he laid it up one winter here. So that's heading off down towards the Ribble.
That's right.
And the tide is obviously out now. We just heard it's going to be high tide about 2 o'clock. So we shall hope to see some boats coming down the Ribble Link from the other end. Now that's the bedroom that I was born in, believe it or not, in 1934. This is 32 Mulgrave Avenue, and we've just met the present owner, who's very kindly invited us in. And that tree, I had a tree house up there. Look, that's where I had my.
Nails up there.
I thought it was a sycamore, but I'm wrong. No. That's the roof where Dad rigged an overhead slide for me to whiz off, and the back bedroom there, the one in the centre, was where we had a car. We pulled a car up in there. And I've got a picture somewhere of the very first television aerial which we stuck up on that chimney.
I said to Bill, then I find out no time to fly them.
Well, I can remember.
Of interest, you'll see that the present owner has got the same hobby that I have. This is the dining room at the house where I was born. It is now twice the size. It sort of goes on a bit. It used to stop halfway down. And it was just there that we used to hide underneath the table when there were air raids going. This is the kitchen. There used to be a scullery through there. Dad's workbench used to be on that wall. the sitting room. That's where the Christmas tree used to be, where Dad put a Baxi fire in there. And in the far corner, where that telly is, there was a HMV radiogram. This is the hallway and the stairs, and this is where Richard and I, a friend of mine, hauled a small car up and put it in the bedroom up there so we could work on it. This was the room my dad and I had as a workshop, and that was where we had this motor car on which we were working on, or my friend and I were working on. We had a workbench along here and a little lathe on it, a little small lathe, and out through the window is where you could crawl along on top of that roof there, look, and there's the garden. Talk about trip down memory lane. I don't know if I want to go in here. I've never been in here.
This is where he was born.
This was where I was born. Yep, right there. Oh dear me. Yeah.
Because you sent me a photograph of your mum, didn't you?
Yes, yes. And now look what the present owner has done here.
I've ruined it.
He's got a. Is that your modelling room up there?
Yes, it is actually.
Right. Well, this is
Just as we are.
David and Dorothy Wade. Thank you very much indeed for showing us your house. Mulgrave Avenue. And there is our house, which is now rather a lot of trees in front of it, didn't it used to be? And there's down to Ashton Park. I think we'll call that a day now. Now, this is how boating is conducted in the northwest, you see. This is Freckleton Creek, and Dad's boat used to live here. We had a staging which he made in one of the fields there, and beautiful gooey smelly mud. This is why I live in Plymouth, because the water's a better colour, like. And there, this was the Allinson's boatyard, was either here or just up in the distance there. So that was really only place where you could keep a boat. No marinas. We just had lunch at the Ship Inn, Freckleton, and it's a lovely day. That's a view across the Ribble Valley to the Pennines in the distance, and in the foreground there's the leading lights to Wharton Airfield. On the other side of the Ribble from Tarleton and the River Douglas, there's a Savick Brook, which this is, and this Ribble link where narrowboats can get into the Lancaster Canal comes up here. Now the tide's just coming in slowly, and apparently in 10 minutes time or 20 minutes time they will lower this weir thing and connect the thing up to the next bit here, which takes them up to another. There are two narrowboats just around the corner there, sort of moored on a pontoon, and then there's 7 locks up to the Lancaster Canal. Right, you just press the magic button, and the weir, as you can see, is slowly going down because it's going to lie underneath, which is creating a fair bit of current at the moment. There he goes. This is the machine that's doing it all, is it?
Yeah, hydraulic pump.
Little hydraulic pump. Thank you.
Give him a shout.
Here he comes now.
Grab in the bank,
First of 2. There he comes. Smile, you're on candid camera. Yeah. Bye. Heading down towards the Ribble, we will now go back to see the locks that they have come down, joining to the Lancaster Canal. Now this is where those boats would have come from. They'll have headed down there underneath the road from here. And then here we have a very difficult turn, because what they've got to do is go back sort of almost a hairpin bend. So I think they've probably got to wind the boat in that little area. So you come out there, turn the boat round there, and you go down underneath where I'm standing. And into the first of this 3 staircase lock. And then Bob's your uncle when you get to the top, turn right and you're in the Lancaster Canal. A nice little basin here. And there you go. What happens if you turn left up the glass dock, turn right?
Into the middle of, towards the middle of Preston.
Towards the middle of Preston.
You've got about another... So, well, you wind around through the North Fylde countryside, up to Garstang, and then at Gallgate.
How many locks are there?
There are no locks at all from here to Carnforth. It's the longest stretch of canal in the country without any locks.
That's where the canal comes into Glasson Dock, which has got a lock locking out into the sea. Or in the...
In the outer basin.
So there we are, that's the outer basin, and that is the sea lock there, the chap walking over it. Actually goes into the River Loon, is it?
Yes, into the River Loon.
River Loon.
And by into the sea inside about a mile.
This is a view of the estuary. Top end of the river going out into, is that the north end of Morecambe Bay, Jeremy? Is that Morecambe Bay?
Morecambe Bay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the end of Morecambe.
And on that point there's a little village, what's it called?
Sunderland Point.
Sunderland Point.
The original port for Lancaster. Lovely cottages and houses.
And you can
very accessible at fairly low tide.
You can only get to it at low tide, apparently. Well, now to finish off the day, I'm about to be taken for a ride, I think. May I come?
Yes.
Thank you. Right. Here we get.
Still on camera?
Yes.
I think you've got to edit a lot of this film, aren't you, Mike?
I think I shall have to. It was carried into that pub. Yeah, I remember seeing her carried in. Well, that was quite an exhilarating drive. And this is, you might notice a rabbit there, and that's called Thumper. And that was been on all of Jeremy's cars. And on that note, we will fade out for today, methinks. Now, it's now Friday, and I had a very hectic night last night. I was taken out by my friend to play pool, and then we went to a pub with a superb jazz band, traditional jazz band, and the average age of the musicians was, what do we reckon? About
70. About
70. And they were fantastic, and the greatest regret of my life is not taking the camera in there. And we're now looking at the reservoirs which were built by the Victorians to service what, Preston and all around? Liverpool. I'm involved in mapping out a route for a future run for some of Jeremy's, I think they call themselves the Wrinkleys. They have a vintage car run over here, and this is a place called Belmont, and it's, to be honest, it looks very much like Dartmoor, doesn't it? Except there ain't no tours. It's really lovely. Belmont. Well, thank you very much indeed, Jeremy and Pat, for looking after me so well.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Mike. We look forward to it as an annual event.
Yes, an annual event.
And
I'm not
to come up with the jazzes on, you see.
I'm not sure that I'll be able to cope on an annual basis. But,
Well, perhaps every 2 years then.
thank you very much indeed.
But don't leave it too long because
It was a bit of a temptation on my way back. I happened to be passing Church Stretton, so I thought we'd better have a quick look at the gliding that's going on. There's a view of the Long Mynd. Winch is this end. So they're launching not a way we never did when we were there. So there we go, on the way home and about to go down the dreaded descent off the Long Mynd, looking over into Wales there. And I think that'll probably be the end of the film. We'll walk about too.